The Aurora History Museum and Historic Sites welcomes listeners to our production of Our Miss Brooks, starring Stuart Barr, Leroy Leonard, Lisa Mumpton, and Susanna Wellens. We start our show with Strolling Through Aurora, your summary of news from those early days of our fair city. These stories have been borrowed from the Aurora Democrat newspaper, which reported the happenings in our city and around the nation from 1909 to 1955. Here now is Strolling Through Aurora.
Today's segment is brought to you by Jerry's Cafe. There's plenty of space for that little informal party with the best of food served in cool, comfortable booths. Sizzling steaks with true Italian spaghetti and hard rolls make eating a joy. Time-mellowed wines and beers, both imported and domestic, will complete the party. Oh, just a minute. See the Star Duster Orchestra every night at Jerry's on Colfax and Emporia.
Now in entertainment news, July 1933. Miss Sarah D. Fuller's mandolin band appeared in concert at KLZ on the Just Kids program, after which they were guests of the Denver Post. They were taken through the entire building and were each given a small paper as a souvenir of their trip. Their pictures appeared in Saturday evening's Denver Post. On July 4th, they played on the program at Elitch's and were the only number receiving an encore. Miss Fuller was presented the gold medal given by the Denver Post, and each member of the band received a new quarter. The young people took turns wearing the medal. At noon, a picnic dinner was enjoyed, at which covers were laid for 16, including members of the band, their sponsor, and members of their families.
July 1933. So much interest is being shown in softball that a 6-team league is being organized in Aurora. Today, 2 teams have been gotten together, one under Marshall Welsh and the other by Joe Kennedy. They will fight out the first softball game next Sunday on the high school grounds. As great rivalry exists between the teams, a fine, exciting game is looked for. Anyone wanting to play softball should be on hand for next Sunday's game. You can get your chance to play on one of the teams being organized.
June 1939. The summer playground will open at the Aurora Grade School grounds from 3 to 7 p.m. every day except Monday. There will be supervised play for all ages. The games will include baseball, volleyball, badminton, horseshoes, table tennis, shuffleboard, and many others. Come to the grade school and register with Lloyd Chamberlain in charge of the playgrounds. Anyone interested in handicrafts should register early so that a teacher can be brought in each week to assist the students in this activity.
And now, some advice. November 1952. I do not hanker to break up romance, for romance is nice. But if your lady wears makeup, son, here's some earnest advice. Ask her to take off the powder, lipstick, eyelids, and rouge. Be just as nature endowed her. Now, I'm not being a Scrooge, but if you don't want to wake up wondering who that is, then see her just once. Minus makeup, you won't be startled again.
And finally, some education news. May 1946. 2 vocational programs have been carried on in William Smith High School this past year: homemaking and shop. About 60 girls have had the opportunity to use the facilities of the Home Economics Department. Their training includes cooking, sewing, and all other subjects related to homemaking. They have given a couple of dinners for the Board of Education and the faculty of Aurora Public Schools. The girls also conducted a fashion show displaying various articles of clothing. The school administration would like for every girl to take home economics during her freshman and junior years. They feel that it gives the girls an opportunity to learn things which are usable at the present and necessary for their well-being later in life.
The other vocational program has been one related to trades and industries. It was necessary for the boys to build their own shop. The total cost, including wiring, was $1,700. The time since the completion of the shop building has been spent in repairing school chairs, which were purchased from Lowry Field. The boys also spent 2 weeks in the home economics department.
The classes have been engaged in constructing reinforced bleachers for the football field. When you buy a seat next fall for $2.50 for 5 games, you will be helping to pay for the project. Several of this year's boys have progressed far enough in the art of bricklaying that they have been offered jobs as apprentice bricklayers at salaries of $6.40 per day. We feel this speaks well of their accomplishments.
April 1948. Scientists have learned to turn sound to practical uses. It's done by directing streams of sound waves, most of which cannot be heard by the human ear. This new science of sound is called ultrasonics. Here are some of the things it is expected to do: control insects, halt food decay, pasteurize milk, sterilize fruit, dissipate smoke, and turn fog into rain. It is even suggested that tomorrow's surgeon may use sound to perform operations.
Thank you for joining us as we went strolling through Aurora. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we present Radio Days at the Aurora History Museum with our production of a classic radio program.
And now, Anacin, the tablet thousands of physicians and dentists recommend for the fast relief of pain of headache, neuritis, and neuralgia. And Palmolive shaving cream for men presents Our Miss Brooks. It's time once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks. But first, here is something you should know if you ever suffer from the pain of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. It's an incredibly fast way to ease the pain. It's Anacin, a way countless numbers of people have found superior. Anacin acts so promptly to relieve pain. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, Anacin contains not just one, but a combination of medically proven active ingredients in convenient tablet form. Thousands of persons have been introduced to Anacin through their own physicians or dentists. But today, these tablets are in such widespread use that all drug counters have them. And everyone can have the benefit of their incredibly fast action. So if you want to relieve the pain of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia, by all means try Anacin on this guarantee. If the first few Anacin tablets do not give you all the relief you want as fast as you want it, return the unused portion and your money will be refunded. I'll spell the name for you. A-N-A-C-I-N. Easy to take Anacin tablets. Come in handy boxes of 12 and 30 and economical family-sized bottles of 50 and 100. Ask for Anacin at your druggist today. Well, it's spring cleaning time throughout the country, and our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High, is not one to sit idly by as her landlady cleans the house.
No, indeed. I can watch better standing up. Not that I'm lazy, but Mrs. Davis, bless her heart, refuses to let me help, and for a very good reason. She says she knows exactly where to find the dirt she's been pushing around all winter. Last Thursday morning, as I entered the living room, she was already hard at work, and I hated to interrupt her. Oh, Mrs. Davis! Mrs. Davis! Mrs. Davis! Oh, what is it, Connie? Please turn that thing off. Well, that's better. Mrs. Davis, did you make breakfast for me this morning? Because if not, why, I could just...
Well, of course I did, dear. Don't you see it? I just finished waxing the table, so I put your bacon and eggs on the sofa.
Where? there? I don't see any bacon and eggs on the sofa.
Why, they're right over there. Oh, Connie, as soon as I empty my new Jiffy vacuum, I'll give them to you.
Oh, no thanks. By that time, they may be a little too well done. Well, I'll simply have to get my breakfast. Mrs. Davis, did you say your new Jiffy vacuum? You just bought a new clean-all 3 weeks ago. What did you need a Jiffy cleaner for?
Oh, I really don't need it, dear, but you should see this salesman. Oh, any woman would gladly put a down payment on a cleaner with Mr. Murdoch. I've never seen anyone like him before. Besides, he said you had recommended me to him as a prospect.
Well, that's true. Several weeks ago, in an unguarded moment, I recommended 20 names to the Jiffy Vacuum Cleaner Company at $2 a name, but that was before you'd bought your clean-all.
Now, don't you feel badly, Connie. Mr. Murdoch is due back here at 8:15 sharp any minute now to collect his $10 down payment. And if you think you can resist him, you handle him, dear. I'm just a lump of soggy putty in his hands.
Well, you'd better unsog, Mrs. Davis, because I'm going to throw him out just as soon as he
Connie, that's him. Is my hairnet in place? Are my sneakers on straight? Oh, be still, my foolish, palpitating heart.
Mrs. Davis, please. It's going to be hard enough to throw him out without you hanging on his leg. Now, just keep quiet and I'll do all the talking. I am very sorry, my good fellow, but...
Hello, baby.
Hubba.
Connie.
Hey, where'd you get those great, big, beautiful eyes, honey? Doesn't this gorgeous blonde doll talk, Mrs. Davis?
Well, yes, but I think she's in a state of shock. Won't you come in, Mr. Murdoch?
Why, certainly, Mrs. Davis. And what do you say, baby?
Mrs. Davis, lock the doors. Oh, that is, by all means, come in, Mr. Mr. Peck, Mr. Brando.
No, Murdoch is the name, honey.
Oh, Murdoch.
Harry Murdoch. I'm regional sales manager for the Jiffy Vacuum Cleaner Company. But when I came last night, Mrs. Davis, she never told me I'd run into anything as completely ravishing as you. You, get me, honey?
Dear, close your mouth and answer the man. Oh, no, that wouldn't work. Connie, I thought you were going to do all the talking.
I'm too busy listening.
Oh, won't you sit down and have some hot chocolate with us, Mr. Murdoch?
Before you do, Mr. Murdoch, there's something Mrs. Davis and I have to tell you.
Yes, sugar.
Well, 3 weeks ago, she bought, that is, we already have...
Yes, honey?
We have...
What do you have, baby?
We have hot chocolate, coffee, soda pop, yummy yogurt. You can have your choice.
Oh, some other time, honey. I haven't got the time right now. I've got to close this sale and then get to my next...
Oh, yes, that's just it, Mr. Murdoch. Mrs. Davis had something she wanted to tell you.
Oh, yes, you see, I wanted to tell you that,
What did you want to tell me, gorgeous?
Here's your $10. Where do I sign? Where's the paper? Where?
Right here, beautiful. Here's my pen. Oh, that's a girl. That's fine. Mrs. Davis, allow me to congratulate you, sugar. You made a wise investment. And now, girls, I should bring in the attachments to show you how they work, but I'm a little rushed. So, what about tonight at 8? Will this evening at 8 be all right with you, Mrs. Davis, honey?
Hubba.
And how about you, Angel?
Hubba.
I will see you tonight then, Marva.
Oh, if only I were 20 years younger. Connie.
Yes, baby. What, Mrs. Davis?
Dear, why did you let that beautiful man sell me a second cleaner?
I wonder if it's legal for a man to have 5 dimples on his face.
And you told me you had plenty of sales resistance. Connie, I simply can't afford to pay for 2 cleaners. Not that I hold it against you for sending Mr. Murdoch to me in the first place, but after all, it does make you a little responsible.
I know it, Mrs. Davis, and I'll get back the money and the contract from Mr. Murdoch tonight. I've thought of a way to resist him.
Oh, but how, dear?
I'll just meet him at the door blindfolded with my ears plugged up, and if I can keep 20 feet away, his thought waves won't mean a thing. You wanted to see me, Mr. Conklin?
I didn't get a Charlie horse chasing you down the corridor for nothing. My office, please.
Yes, sir.
Now then, Miss Brooks, to come directly to the point, why did you send the vacuum cleaner salesman to my poor befuddled spouse last night?
Oh, did your wife buy a Jiffy vacuum cleaner from Mr. Murdoch, too?
She almost signed up for one with a passionate pitchman, but as luck would have it, I ducked between them just as she was about to sign.
Really?
Yes. And it took me about an hour to wash her signature off the side of my face. Now, Miss Brooks, I'm on the verge of selling my old car today for $60. And Mrs. Conklin was on the verge of spending that $60 toward the purchase of that Jiffy cleaner.
You mean you finally got a customer for that decrepit old car of yours, sir? Why, it's hardly run in 10 years.
Hardly run? Why, that's the cleanest Stutz Bearcat on the market.
Move over, Mr. Murdoch. I've met your master.
I suppose that's how the world goes, Miss Brooks. The men sell, the women buy. That's the main reason I asked you in here, Miss Brooks. I asked the Jiffy people to send their salesman here to my office at 8:50 sharp. He'll be here any minute now. And I want you to see how Osgood Conklin has developed his sales resistance to a point where it is a veritable wall of Jericho.
Mr. Murdoch here? Oh, no, please, sir. Even if he doesn't sell you, the ricochet may trap me for 12 months now. If you'll excuse me,
One moment, Miss Brooks. You need this little lesson in sales resistance. Come in, sir.
Hello, handsome. You wouldn't know where I could find Mr. Conklin, would you, Brown Eyes?
Wait, he's out right now, but could I be, I'm Mr. Conklin.
Well, I wasn't expecting anything as wonderful as this. I'm Lola Perry, sales representative for the Jiffy Vacuum Cleaner Company.
You're the salesman they sent over.
Why, yes. You were expecting me, weren't you, handsome?
Oh, yes, but not quite so much of you. That is, I was expecting you, but a slightly different shape. I mean,
Oh, maybe you were expecting a taller person.
it was a difference entirely. Well,
Miss Brooks, I'm certain you have a class that you could go to.
I could push your eyeballs back in their sockets, but right now I don't have anything else to do, sir. Not a thing. I can just sit here and watch your sales resistance. Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, Jericho.
Miss Brooks,
Jericho.
certainly there is something you could do.
Pardon me, Brown Eyes, if I'm interrupting anything. I could leave.
Interrupting anything? Oh, no, you're not interrupting anything, my dear. Not a thing. No, sit right down, my dear. Sit down here and let me help you. Well, there we are. Are you comfy?
Oh, you'd make any woman feel comfortable, handsome.
Oh, good. And I'll sit right near you on the tippy end of my desk. And now then, what can we do for you today? What can we do for you? You just name it. Anything at all.
and the walls came tumbling down.
That will do, Miss Brooks. I'm talking to Miss Perry.
You certainly are handsome, and Lola can tell by talking to you that you're the strong, protective type of man who likes to make it easier for us women.
Oh, I do.
Just one of those was enough to get you hooked for life.
Yes, I know you do, honey. And that's why your signature on this paper and a teensy down payment isn't gonna keep you from giving your wife a jiffy cleaner, is it?
Oh, no, indeed. It's not going to keep me from... Oh, wait, just a moment. There's something that I wanted to say.
Yes? What did you want to say to me, Brown Eyes?
Here's your $10. Where do I sign? Where?
Right here, big boy, on this line here. That's it. And thank you so much. Well, I guess I'll be going now, handsome.
No. Well, let me float you to the... walk you to the door.
Goodbye, Brown Eyes.
Oh, goodbye, Miss Perry. Oh, la la.
You just bought $120 worth of ooh la la.
Miss Brooks, what is a mere $120 when a strong, protective man tries to make it easier for women all over the... What's a mere $120? Again, I've been Shanghai.
Well, I suppose that's how the world goes, Brown Eyes, Mr. Conklin. The women sell and the men buy.
Miss Brooks, since you sent the Jiffy Company to my household in the first place, I hold you completely responsible. Now I want you to get back my $10, and I want you to get back my contract. Now let's see if there's anything else I want you to do.
No, sir. There I draw the line.
Draw the line?
Yes, sir. If you want me to get back Lola Perry, you're on your own. Well, when I recommended them as prospects, I had no idea Mrs. Davis and Mr. Conklin would be charmed into buying Jiffy vacuum cleaners, which both of them needed like a hole in the rug. Anyway, they both managed to make me feel like the finger girl for a vacuum cleaner mob. I tried to forget my troubles at noon when I went down to the cafeteria to meet Mr. Boynton. He had promised to treat me for lunch, and from his first remark, as I sat down at our table, I knew he would be the soul of generosity.
I hope you had a big breakfast today, Miss Brooks.
Yes, and I plan on having an even bigger lunch, Mr. Boynton. Breakfast was 4 hours ago.
I know, but living a highly sedentary life as we do, much of our caloric intake turns to nothing but flabby blubber.
If we have more than a thimbleful of cottage cheese, we're absolute pigs.
Well, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, if there's one thing that makes a woman attractive, it's a nice slim figure.
And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, if there's one thing that makes a man attractive, it's a nice fat wallet. Mr. Boynton, if you don't want to treat me to lunch today, why don't you stop beating around the bush and just come out and say it?
I don't want to treat you to lunch today. That is, I want to, Miss Brooks, but I can't. You remember a week ago I was saving to put $10 down on a new suit?
Well, why didn't you say so? Then you bought a new suit.
Not exactly a suit.
Oh, a sport jacket?
Oh, not precisely.
What did you buy?
A Jiffy vacuum cleaner.
Well, I know you'll look perfectly stunning. A Jiffy vacuum cleaner?
I know what you're gonna say, Miss Brooks. I live in a rented apartment. The landlady cleans my place once a week, and I have no earthly use for a vacuum cleaner.
Then why did you buy it?
Ooh la la.
French, for even a biologist sometimes deserts his frogs. So, Lola Perry paid you a visit too.
I still can't figure out what happened. Whew. All I know is I committed myself for a vacuum cleaner which I don't need and can't afford. Not that I hold you personally responsible because you sent her to me, Miss Brooks, but...
But you're convinced you saw my face last week on Racket Squad. Well, actually, Mr. Boynton, if you'd shown a little more sales resistance...
Hi, Mr. Boynton. Hi, Miss Brooks.
Hello, Walter.
Oh, what an entrancing sight. The fairest flower of Madison's faculty, seated next to Madison's most generous, big-hearted,
Oh,
philanthropic...
forget it, Walter. All his money is tied up in ooh-la-la cleaning equipment.
But all I wanted to borrow was $50. I'm in a little financial jam, Mr. Boynton. You see, I invited Harriet to lunch, and now I found out she hasn't got the money to treat me. Could you just advance me 50 cents till next Wednesday?
Well, you see,
I hope you two had a big breakfast, Walter. Don't you usually get your weekend allowance about this time, though?
Well, yeah, usually. But right now there's a big economy wave in my house. It started last night when my father bawled out my mother for being extravagant.
For being extravagant?
Yeah, she bought a Jiffy vacuum cleaner.
That Mr. Murdoch is really sweeping the country.
But, Walter, if your mother actually needed a vacuum, why did your father bawl her out for being extravagant?
Because an hour before, Dad had bought a Jiffy vacuum cleaner from a beautiful doll. Oh, you should see that Miss Perry. Ooh la la. You can't look at her without...
Hello, everybody.
Oh, hello, Harriet.
Well, Walter, did you get the O-Day for the unchley?
No, he didn't get the O-Day, Harriet A. But I can let you have an Uck-Bay until A-Day payday, okay?
Gosh, Dakota, that means we eat. Come on, Harriet, let's dive into the navy bean soup.
Hold it, sailor. Harriet, is your father still angry with me?
Oh, awfully angry, Miss Brooks. All morning he'd had me on the phone arguing with the Jiffy people. But it seems they only cancel contracts with unreliable customers. They seem to feel that school teachers always pay their debts.
And we've got the pawn tickets to prove it. Say, wait a minute, Harriet. You've given me a thought. I think maybe I can persuade them to take back all these cleaners.
Swell. But where can you rent a Tommy gun in this town?
No, I'm serious, Walter. Bring both of your cleaners to my place before 8 o'clock tonight. Mr. Boynton, you do the same, and you too, Harriet. Now, here's what we're going to do when Mr. Murdoch arrives at my house.
Oh, I think I understand. You're gonna convince him how low your sales resistance is, huh? Say, that's pretty good, especially a woman with your resistance.
Yes, Casanova? How would you know?
Lola here with shaving advice for men. Try using Palmolive Lather Shave Cream. Palmolive's oceans of rich, thick lather ends worries about scrapes, burns, and nicks. Why, even in cold or hard water, that Palmolive Lather Way is super smooth, super comfortable. The new Palmolive Lather Way gets beards really soft, and it provides a protective film that actually floats your razor's cutting edge. You get a clean, close shave every time, without worry about scraping or nicking, even in cold or hard water. Hundreds of men have tested Palmolive Lather Cream following package instructions, and 3 out of 4 reported smoother, more comfortable shaves. The Palmolive Shave Cream Way, no matter how they shaved before. Remember, even in cold or hard water, the Palmolive Lather Way comes smooth, means more comfortable shaves.
Well, I thought I had a pretty foolproof way to persuade Mr. Murdoch to take back his vacuum cleaners. And since I needed her help, later that evening I explained my idea to my landlady. Now, are you sure you understand my plan, Mrs. Davis?
I think so, dear. We've got to convince that gorgeous Mr. Murdoch that we've loaded ourselves with debts because we have no sales resistance.
That's the idea. We've got to convince him we're such an unreliable family that he'll take back all the cleaners around here.
Oh, maybe while we're at it, we could convince him to take me back with him.
Mrs. Davis!
Well, a girl can dream, can't she? But Connie, I only hope your plan. Oh, Connie, I think that's him. Oh, it is. Oh, my goodness, where did I put my sedatives?
Oh, now, Mrs. Davis, there's no time to get flustered. We've got to show a little control.
Oh.
That's it. Self-control. Now, is my lipstick cone? Is my head on straight? Oh, I'll take it.
All right, dear. I'll be right back.
Hello, baby.
Where do I sign? Where? Oh, Mr. Murdoch, please come in. I was just helping Mrs. Davis finish our spring cleaning.
Your spring cleaning?
Yes, I always do my housework in this old off-the-shoulder cocktail dress. But as you can see, I have my Jiffy vacuum cleaner right here with me.
Yes, so I see. Oh, wait a minute, honey. If your Jiffy is here, what's that? That sounds like a vacuum, too.
Oh, I know. That's what's wonderful about Jiffy. You can tell their sound from a carpet sweeper in a second.
What I meant was, I had no idea you had two Jiffy vacuums.
Connie, oh, hello, dear Mr. Murdoch. Oh, did you just buy another Jiffy from him, Connie?
No, Mrs. Davis. This is the same old thing we bought this morning.
Well, dear, the bag in my Jiffy is full. Do you want to empty it out for me?
Why bother, Mrs. Davis? Just put that one aside and use the Jiffy that's in the bedroom.
You've got another Jiffy vacuum in the bedroom?
Oh, yes, indeed. But, Connie, I just dread walking up all those stairs to get it.
Oh, you're right, Mrs. Davis. Then why not use the one in the dining room?
Now, wait, girls, wait. You mean you bought cat Jiffy cleaners?
Not counting the one we purchased just to loan out to the neighbors.
Father, vacuum cleaners?
Mr. Murdoch, when we spring clean, we spring clean!
And someone said there's a recession going on. Now look, ladies, maybe we've oversold you slightly. After all, making payments on 5 cleaners.
6! We also bought a clean-all vacuum.
A clean-all?
Oh, please don't be angry with us, Mr. Murdoch. We only use the clean-all to clean the Jiffies.
6 cleaners?
Oh, I know just what you're thinking, Mr. Murdoch. That we're an unreliable family, but please don't think that. We've met many a second payment.
For goodness, yes. Sometimes months roll by before we get those darling little reminder notes from the collection agency.
Well, look, girls, maybe I ought to take back 2 of those cleaners.
Oh, but we always make our payments, Mr. Murdoch. True, we don't have much sales resistance on the smaller things, but we weigh very carefully before we buy the really expensive items.
How true. Only this morning we ran an ad in the paper to buy a used car. Well, a man came over.
And we looked at the car a full 3 minutes from this very window before we bought it.
Yeah, well, maybe I ought to take back 3 cleaners.
Oh, no, please don't, Mr. Murdoch. I made a resolution not to buy one solitary thing the rest of the month. Oh, excuse me, please. Yes, sir?
Hello, baby. My name is Phil Boynton, and I'm selling.
I'm buying. What are you selling?
I'll tell you, beautiful. I saw your ad in the paper, and I happen to have a 1929 Chevrolet that's just begging to match up with those great big baby blue eyes.
And to think he's been wasting all this on frogs and white rabbits. I would have been glad to consider your offer, but only this morning
You what, sugar?
Only this morning
Yes, honey.
Only this...
Yes, baby.
Oh, where do I sign? Where? Do you have something you want me to sign, like a bill of sale, a promissory note, a marriage contract, auto contract? Oh, here.
No, wait a minute. Miss Brooks, you said you bought this car this morning.
Oh, quiet, small fry. Now, I'll just sign this little paper, Mr. Boynton. There you are. Now I own... Who's this coming up the walk behind you?
Hello, baby.
Hi, Oh, who are you, sir?
Ozzie Conklin's the name, gorgeous. I saw your ad in the paper for a used car. Are you still in the market, Luscious?
Since I was 18. Oh, you mean for a car? Well, you see,
Honey, I have a car outside that's a perfect match for those great big glorious baby blue eyes.
Where do I sign? Where's the paper? Where is it, sir?
This is fantastic. Miss Brooks, Miss Brooks, you told me you people weighed carefully all major purchases.
Oh, that's true, Mr. Murdoch. Mr. Conklin, do you mind if I ask you a few questions before, about your car?
Certainly, sugar. Ask me anything.
All right. Does it have an engine?
Yes!
I'll buy it. Now, how much is it? How much is it?
Would 50 be too much, baby?
Oh, no.
Well, then make it 75.
All right, it's a deal. Now, I sign here, right? Now, there you are.
That does it! Miss Brooks, you people here are the most unreliable customers my company has ever dealt with, and we can't afford to take the risk of having you as an account. I'm taking back all of our cleaners in the morning and tearing up each and every contract.
But Mr. Murdoch, we're really a reliable family.
Oh, yes, I know. In 2 minutes, a man could sell you the Brooklyn Bridge.
Really? What is he asking for it?
Ah!
Our Miss Brooks was produced and directed by Larry Berns. Written by Arthur Alsberg and Lou Dermott, with music by Lud Gluskin.